Shalom. First and foremost, above all things, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash. I want to give a special double honors to our elders and apostles on down for teaching us this truth. And peace and salutations to the elect. May the blessing of election be upon your household, on you sincere brothers and you two sisters out there that listen and take heed to the true doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua as spoken by his servants, the prophets. To you, I want to say Shalom. Back again with another video, and Lord willing, I hope and pray that this will be edifying. I remember Elder Apostle Tahar saying one of the goals in being in this ministry is the understanding of these scriptures. So our goal is to be a scholar. And when you look up the word scholar, it means a specialist in a particular, basically a particular activity. And the activity for us is the understanding of the Bible. So our determination is to be a scholar in the understanding of the Bible. Therefore, we can become better teachers. At the end of the day, by us getting this understanding, it makes us better men, better brothers, better teachers, and better servants unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. So that is the goal of one of the goals in when you come into this thing, man. It's more to it than just knowing that you're an Israelite, things of that nature, because you got you got Jacob of the world. Some of them already know that they're Israelites, but that's it. That's as far as the elevator goes, maybe to the first floor, and that's it, But with us, we want to ascend all the way as far as we can, man, and learn as much as we can, because again, when you look up Isaiah chapter 33 and 6, and I'll get that, wisdom will be wisdom and knowledge will be the thing that we'll need in the times to come. So let's go to some scriptures and get more understanding. Second Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Yeah. And that's what we want to be doing. We want to study to show ourselves approved. A workman that needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And that's what we got to do. We want to make sure this is a message that's from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and as the prophets, it is our goal, as well as fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, that we say the right and correct things, and we do that by continuing to study. And you think about it, in anything that you are into, you have to work on it, whether it's boxing or cooking, just whatever it is, you have to work on it. You got to constantly keep working on it to improve yourself. And even in the things that you're more skilled in, you still have to work on that skill so you don't lose it, right? Because if you think about it, you got guys that have come into this truth and knowledge and the Lord gave him a certain gift. What it could have been, maybe it could have been speaking well, you know, being well versed in the Hebrew, maybe being able to speak in the Hebrew, you know. But then you go back into the world, you know, for whatever reason, because the Lord has rejected you, basically, because that's what it is. All those things go away, you know. So we have to constantly keep building in this truth and knowledge, man. Ever more learning. When you think about our elder apostles, beginning with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, you know, they're still ever learning, even though they, you know, on a level that none of us are on, they're still learning. So we're still in a position that we're still learning. How much more with us, you know? Like I say, I remember, and I'll never forget this, I believe it was Elder Apostle Tahar that said it. He said, man, I didn't know this. And it was something, I forgot what it was, but what it was, you know, it doesn't really matter now, but the fact that he said that, and here's, you know, this beloved brother has been doing this work for over 40 years, man. So this thing about that we're in, it humbles you constantly, because there's always something to learn. And right now, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given us things, you know, the tools to know things right now. And then, of course, once we get into the kingdom, we'll know all things. Which, you know, right now we know all the things that we need to know, that the Lord has blessed us to get. But in the kingdom, we're going to know a lot more, you know, a whole lot more. But in the meantime, you know, we got a lot of work to do, man. We got to keep studying and building in this truth and knowledge, man. Second Peter 1 and 10, wherefore, thee rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure, for if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. Yeah, so we have to give diligence. And one of the biggest ways we give diligence outside of just the preaching work is to build upon the things that we have already learned. You know, you know, a lot of times you have brothers that bring up precepts that you're not familiar with. Get familiar with those precepts, man, so you can, you know, be able to teach them, you know. Add them on to the precepts that you already know. I remember something like Elder Apostle Tahar said when I first started learning, and he was saying that they say, you know, it's good to write the precepts down and things of that nature, but he said you want to always know these precepts in your mind as well. Just keep them up in your head. And at the time, you know, being, you know, new in this thing, you know, learning, I was saying to myself, man, it is no way I'm going to be able to remember all these precepts, man. But when Yahweh Shem Yahushua is working with you, you know, anything is possible, man. So, you know, never doubt the ability of Yahweh Shem Yahushua when he's working with you, man. You know. And I realized, I was like, dang, you know, I you know, over the course of time, you'd be surprised how many precepts you remember because of going back over them, you know, knowing them over and over going back over them over and over again. And there's some precepts, of course, we have to look up, and then there's some precepts we know how it goes, we just don't know where it's at. We don't know, we may kind of like, I think it's in so, but we have to look it up. And, thank Yahweh Shem Yahushua that we have a phone to be able to Google these things. But again, we want to always try to, if we can, remember these things in our mind, man. So these things will, these precepts will be there for us, in our minds and in our hearts, man. But again, getting back to the subject, we want to continue to build in this thing of ours that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has, set up for us. Proverbs 4 and verse 7, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Yeah, so it's one thing to get the wisdom, but it's another thing to get the understanding of this wisdom. It's kind of like reading the Bible. Back in the day, we would read the Bible, but we did not get the understanding. We was reading about the wisdom, right? But we wasn't getting that understanding until Yahweh Shem Yahushua put the spirit of understanding upon us to get it, right? So that's where we're at right now. We're getting the understanding of these scriptures, man. So that's a blessing, man, because you have so many jakes out there with Bibles, and they don't have the understanding of nothing, but we're getting the understanding of maybe certain words we may stumble upon that we're not familiar with. You can always look them up and get the true meaning of what the scriptures are, man. I mean, what the word means, So that's the key thing, to get that understanding, man. Last scripture, let's go to Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. Because like I say, this wisdom and knowledge is what's going to sustain us in the times to come. This is what the scripture is telling us right here in Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is his treasure. Yeah. So those who fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that's his treasure. And those are the ones that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to take care of. And that's those who have this wisdom and knowledge, because they're going to be stable in that time, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to put that spirit on them to have it. And Lord willing, we're of that ilk, man. So that's something to really consider and really think about, man. And, to continue to fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, and keep building in this truth and knowledge. You don't want to get in this truth and knowledge and just stay stagnant. You want to grow and build. This is why, it's such a blessing to have brothers that are over us that know more than we do, because we can build on the things that we already know, with listening to brothers who are, who are been in this, who have been laboring a little longer than we have. You know what I mean? So what a blessing. And call Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua for blessing us to be in this situation, and him setting up an order like this to where, us younger brothers can get a better understanding of his truth and knowledge and keep building, So once again, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakah Kodash. Till the next time, Lord willing, I'll say Shalom.